Welcome back, everyone. We're here, Swish on location. We were at Galactic Toys and Games in Kentwood, Michigan. We were there to record some Monday Night Modern, and Steven, that was an amazing evening. I had so much fun doing it. We had some technical difficulties,
Yes.
but we survived. We're here to throw
Yes.
some commentary on these videos
Yes.
since they didn't catch any.
Yes. It only caught one round, right? It caught round four at least.
Yeah, but we're gonna be adding that too because it was pretty loud because no everybody was sitting at that table and you
Oh
could
boy. Oh
barely
boy.
hear you two, which we're going
Very
to be
unfortunate.
addressing.
Okay. Fair enough.
We do not want people at the same table like that going forward, but that's a discussion for another time. But for those that are about to watch this, if you watched the last video, you saw Daniel Warren is the bounty. That means if he loses, he has to give one of these promo showdown packs, whatever they're called, to the winner. Did Daniel lose last round? You should go back and watch that video. I can't spoil it for you. But definitely don't forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We like to do a lot of free giveaways. We're still doing the Innistrad Midnight Hunt giveaway. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter, like us on Facebook, do all that good stuff. You have so many chances to win.
Yes.
Don't miss out on your chance to be taking home some free goodies.
Uh
But
huh.
without further ado, we have Quinton on the left. We have Wyatt on the right. Quinton on the left. He's over here playing a Loris deck. And that Loris deck, we'll let you wait and see what it is. But we also have Wyatt on the right. He is over here with the big bad Yorion. Steven, have you got to play Yorion in paper yet?
The sky noodle. No, I have not. I have not. And
Yo, hate
yeah.
life.
I'm sure I won't love it. I'm sure I will not love playing 20 extra cards in. I will say, Wyatt is typically known here for playing some D and T. So we will see if he's playing some D and T tonight. Um, for those that don't know, that's my pet deck. So I'm excited to watch Wyatt in action here.
Yes, I'm looking forward to it as well. Have you gotten to play against Wyatt or Quinn?
I have. I've played against Wyatt once. I don't know that I've played against Quinton yet. Um, I played against Wyatt one time so far. I was playing red black that week. Red black Ragavan, DRC Dothy Luris deck, and Wyatt was on a more traditional D&T list. We had a very close match. I think I beat him in 3 games. It might have been 2 games, but it was a very close match. Um, and yeah, I'm excited to watch Wyatt play here. He's another, just like in our first video, we had Tyler, an up and coming local young guy. Wyatt's the same way. We call him the youngster, the young tax collector, uh, the apprentice, if you will. And he's getting better every week. So it's going to be fun to watch him in this match, and we'll see how he fares against this Lyris deck here.
Yep, I'm very excited to see how the battle of Yorion versus Loris goes. We have one deck where you can't play any 3 costs or higher permanents. Then you have another deck that said 60 cards ain't good enough. We're
Yep,
done with that. We're gonna
companion on
sit
companion
here.
action.
Your variance, we're increasing it. We
Mm-hmm.
don't care. I'm excited to watch this. Let's go ahead and get this underway. Quinn versus Wyatt. The match is on. All right, we're shuffling up. We have a die roll. Ooh, a solid two. Solid two.
That's nice.
More
Looks
than
like
two on one
one of the
die.
die rolled right off the table, and it didn't even matter.
Didn't
All
even
right,
matter.
so
You showed more than a one.
Quinton's going to be on the play, and here we go. We're getting our opening hands out. Quinton drawing his cards. Okay, and I think I see a Field of Ruin in Quinton's hand, which would maybe signify that he's going to be playing some mill. I bet you if there's a Field of Ruin in his hand.
Yeah, Field of
But
Ruin
we'll
is a very typical card that you're gonna see just strictly
Yep,
out
and
of.
I see a ruin crab too. So yeah, the jig's about to be up,
I
and
wonder how
Wyatt.
he leads it.
Yeah, I do too. And it looks like Wyatt maybe taking a mold of six here.
Yeah, and he's gonna
Uh,
take a mold of six, which is actually going to, if this is in fact mill, this is actually going to be, not only are you have a slight advantage compared to other decks because you're already playing
sure,
80 cards, but
sure.
now you're gonna have that one additional card because of the mulligan.
Yep. And I was I will say if Wyatt is still on traditional D&T, I actually really like D&T against Mill. A deck that's very reliant on a bunch of 3 mana sorceries is not very good against Thalia. So if Wyatt is on traditional D&T here, uh, it's going to be a good time for him, I think, and we'll see what happens here. Okay, Quinton, yep, leads island. Mr. Crab, let's tap that island now. Come on, Quinton, clean this up. We got to tap our island. We didn't just play this for 0. Oh, it's getting exiled though. Oh, there we go. Now we're tapping the land. Okay, back to Quinton's turn. Turn 2. Here we go. A second crab and a tapped Shelldock Isle. Get some mill going on here. Okay. Yes, and he hides the card away. And it's going to be going back to Wyatt here in a moment. Yep, untaps his land, and here we go. And we got a tap Shambling Vents and an Aether Vial.
By the
Now I'm
way,
curious.
go
Yeah.
ahead. No, go ahead.
Okay. I was going to say I'm curious if Wyatt just drew this Aether Vial, or if he chose to ending on one instead of the vial. If that's the case, I personally it's fine to lose an extra 3 or 6 cards to get the vial going a little faster. So that would have been one thing I think I would have changed if I were in Wyatt's position. Especially on an 80 card deck, I think you can give up the 3 to 6 even more. But just the tempo that you're gaining from that vial being up counters big game. Okay, it looks like we got a hideous laughter here. And we got 3, we got 4, we got 7, 8, 9, 9, 10, ephemerate, interesting, 13, 17. Okay, so, yep, 19. Okay, Plague Engineer. So it definitely looks like Wyatt is on a more like Dead Guy Ale kind of build here. Not necessarily traditional D&T at all. Probably not playing Thalia. Probably not playing Leonin Arbor. This is more the Grief Ephemerate deck.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to get value out of blinking your things. Probably going to be playing Skyclave Apparition. Um, we haven't seen one of those yet, but I would not be surprised if we see one here on this
Um,
turn at all.
so with us having a lot of newer Magic players, at least in the last like year and a half, what does
Boom.
that guy AO mean to you?
Yes, so Dead Guy Ale basically, I have no idea where it got the name, but it's basically just a black white amalgamation of good cards. And I guess the name was adopted from a legacy deck, apparently, is what Andrew was saying. I guess the original Dead Guy Ale was legacy. But either way, it's a black white deck, and it generates value from typically just good creatures. Traditionally, it's been Dark Confidant, things like that. Now we have this deck where it's more Grief Ephemerate, and then Skyclave Apparition for some removal. We got Stoneforge to go get that package, things of that nature. Yep, and crash in for 2 here. But basically, what it means is black white mid range.
Yep. Okay. Yeah, that was just I know a lot when we throw out these terms that we've been playing for quite some time, so we have
Yeah,
the
yeah,
knowledge of it.
yes,
But for a player that's newer to the game, similar, you'll get a lot of the players at F, and then when you
yes.
tell them, "Oh, I'm playing Dead Guy L," they're gonna look at you a little dumbfounded, like, "What did you just
Oh
say
yeah,
to me?"
absolutely. Because that, and some of these names, man, they don't really make any sense at all. Another, okay, we got a crab.
Oh, it's
Interesting.
time. It's Krabby time.
Yeah.
Maybe it's not.
Now, funny enough, I when I was on my spiel there about Dead Guy Ale, um, and maybe I might be getting ahead of myself. Actually, never mind. But so we've got a crab in play here. Looks like Wyatt milling his cards from what appears to be a Field of Ruin, and Quinton. Okay, yep, and that's really gross here. Wyatt vialing him the Stoneforge. Probably going to get Cauldron complete here, and Quinton is going to be on what we'd like to call a clock. Now it is.
This is a
Yeah,
clock for
yeah,
sure. Um,
oh yeah.
Now, I wonder if Quinn is still is going to be on the plan of cracking this field or ruining this scalding tarn. Because if he is, man, he's a real jerk for making Wyatt pass the cut.
Yeah, you're. Yeah, I mean,
Alright,
whatever.
he's
Yep,
not.
here we
He's
go. Pile
okay.
up the
He's
food.
not.
Uh, yep, and here comes Cauldra.
Makes a
5/5
germ.
haste, indestructible, trample, all the keywords. Just a
There's also
million
a chance that
keywords.
he's been holding like the scalding tarn stuff for a fatal push turn.
Yeah, I was wondering the same thing. But it would appear that that may not be the case. We'll see what he does here.
So no
Yep,
damage has been done yet.
yeah, okay. I'm betting he might be planning to do some. What's the 5 mana mill spell, the trap, the archive trap, right?
Yeah.
Maybe he's gonna do some archive trap shenanigans. Yeah, I
So I
think that's
thought this
what.
sequence was weird because I like that he didn't do it when he's tutored off the Stoneforge,
Yes,
and he
that
obviously
is.
had it in hand that he didn't, but
Yeah,
he just said, "No,
yeah,
I want to do
yeah.
it on my terms."
Misstep. It's definitely a misstep from Quinton, for sure. You definitely, when players are trying to tutor their deck, you might as well mill them because maybe you'll hit the card that they're
Well,
trying to
they
find.
still get the tutor anyway, right? Because they have
They
to
do,
finish the
but if you
tutor
hit the
first.
cauldron, yeah, but because there's only one cauldron in the deck, if you randomly hit the cauldron,
Well, he couldn't
you're
have
good.
done it though, right? Because they have to finish resolving the tutor of the cauldron before they can even cast the archive trap. Oh, with
Um,
the field of ruin. Yeah.
yeah, what he could have done is with the Stoneforge on the stack, he could have
Yes.
fielded him, let that search resolve, then archive trapped, um, and maybe he would have hit the Cauldron. So that was a mistake from Quinton for sure in
Yes.
this case.
My apologies. I thought we were on the discussion of like him doing it
No,
because of the Stoneforge.
no, 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 no. Mine specifically was, yeah, the Field of Ruin
Yeah.
not being used.
I remember playing against Yorion decks in the standard mill deck. We were playing with like the Fairy's Toolage.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
We were doing pretty well against them.
Yep. Okay. Is that a Drown in the Lock? I believe it is.
I believe so.
Yeah, Drown in the Lock. No thank you to that Stoneforge Mystic, sir. Put it away. Yep. Wyatt's going to put it over in his yard. Okay. And so, Quinton definitely in some trouble here. See what he can muster in potentially the last turn. Very curious to see if Wyatt has a 3-drop in his hand. I think he has 2, maybe 3 cards in the grip there. He's counting his library. Quinton asked him how many cards he got. Scary question. Kind of like, what's your life at when you're playing against Burn? What's your life at?
Yeah.
3? Oh, that's good for me. Bolt you. But in this case, it's what's your library count? Oh, okay, mill you. But it looks like Wyatt's still got a pretty good chunk of cards there. So,
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he's in huge danger here. But we'll see what happens.
Agreed.
Quinton tapping 3 mana. Luris. Okay, we got a Luris. A little bit of Luris action. Blue to Delta, trigger, mill you 3. Okay. 2, 3. I believe Wyatt has 3 cards. Looks like 3 cards in the grip here. Fetching. Okay, and Wyatt is going to respond. Yes, a Solitude. Okay, he's going to exile that. He's going to... What's he doing to the Solitude? Okay, so that probably means no Flicker Wisp. Otherwise, I assume he would have wisped out the Solitude here. And you can't see it on screen, but there is a Stoneforge in play right now as well. Now, Quinton fetched, so I believe he should be at 7 at the moment, but I'm not certain. Okay. What? Okay. Okay, see now, okay. I think this is a bit of a misstep here from Wyatt. I definitely think that he should have wisped out the Solitude, because even though Quinton gains 3 life, Wyatt's going to gain that 3 life right back from being able to attack with Solitude.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Also worth noting, uh, Wyatt targeted his apparition here, and I don't know what phase this was in, but if this was on the end step, Quinton
No,
was actually not dead here.
no, no. I remember this moment. He did it at the
He
end of
did.
the main phase. I
He
remember
good.
that
That's great.
specifically.
That's really good because I was talking to Andrew about that and I wasn't sure if Wyatt had done that. But yeah, that's some experience taxes piloting for sure. Is knowing to do it at the end of the second main phase. That's nice.
Yep, well, he went ahead and I remember because he was like at the end of the main phase, flicker whisk, and then he played it in. Yeah, he did it
Yep.
real well.
Yep. Should have whisked out the solitude, but it was still good.
Yeah,
Definitely good to do it in the second main there. Love that. It's good stuff.
you know, potato, potato.
Hmm. Now, so I assume Quinton's going to have some tools to remove creatures in the sideboard, maybe fatal pushes, maybe darkness to like fog, get some of that fog effect going on, maybe damnation. These are all cards that I think could be coming in from Quinton here. On Wyatt's end, um, it's already a fairly okay matchup, being that he has 80 cards. That's kind of nice running into mill when you're on the 80 card deck. But he's also going to have, we've already seen Elite Spellbinder. That's a very good tool here, taxing their mana. He's already got a pretty good removal suite in Skyclave Apparition and Prismatic Ending for the crabs. He's got some good answers to crabs. He's got some very solid just evasive threats like Flicker Wisp again. Spellbinder is going to be able to just kind of get over. The crabs aren't really going to stall the ground too much. Wyatt being able to threaten with Cauldron Complete and Stoneforge is going to be a big deal. And then just the fact that Wyatt has the whole Grief Ephemerate package is going to be pretty good in this matchup, I think. But yeah, we'll kind of see what Wyatt's bringing in here. He very, very possible that he's playing cards like Inquisition and Thoughtseize. Those will be good in the matchup too. And we'll kind of just wait and see what happens here as they shuffle up for game 2. Quinton, I assume, will be on the play. Wyatt up a game, trying to get to 2-0. Will Quinton have something to say about that and force a game 3?
It'll be
Still
pretty
shuffling.
interesting, right? Yeah, the biggest issue that Mill's gonna have is like some of your best cards in the meta right now is like Tasha's Hideous Laughter, and the fact
Yeah.
that it misses, well, it always hits. Let's get that out the way. It's the
Yeah.
fact that when it hits, it doesn't hit as many cards compared to other decks,
Yeah.
and that's huge. It helps when majority of what you're playing against these days is Loris.
Yeah. I really actually I'm very curious. I know Blue White Mill actually didn't it win a challenge a few weeks ago. I'm pretty
It
sure it did.
did.
Yeah,
So
I'm really
yeah.
curious to see that deck in action in the future if anyone plays that. I really I think Prismatic Ending is just honestly it might be the best spell in Modern. That card is just insane. And then I believe that deck had 3-mana Teferi in it too. Correct? 3-mana Teferi in the Blue White Mill deck.
It might have. I don't remember.
I believe it did. It might not have, but I think it did. That was like the reason to be white is Teferi and Prismatic Ending. The sweet thing about Teferi is nobody can counter any of your mill effects, and you can do them at instant speed. And Teferi also gives you answers to random nonsense like Cauldron Complete.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so, but as it is, we will see how Quinton can fare here. Looking at their sevens. What are we thinking?
We're here to battle. That's what they're thinking. We are here to fight.
Yeah, and are we here to keep our hands? Quentin thinking. And Quentin and they both
All
say no
right.
thanks. They're both going
See,
to 6.
that's disciplined play. Don't keep a bad hand. Like, there's no
Yep.
reason to. We have a great mulligan procedure.
Yep.
Um, Something that could have probably been taken under advisement in our first match that we watched is take your mulligans. Don't keep medium hands if you don't have to, especially if you're down a game. You can't risk it.
Yep.
You know, it takes one stumble on these medium hands to just end your night.
Um, absolutely, mulliganing is very important in Magic. It's especially important in Modern and Legacy. In Eternal formats, it is more important than other formats. Um, Say, for instance, like in Limited, where you typically try and keep most of your sevens because being down cards is very bad in Limited.
Mm-hmm.
So you'll try and keep a lot more sketchy kind of stuff in Limited just to not be down that resource. But in Constructed, it's a very different animal because of how decks are designed and how decks are able to accumulate card advantage um, and things of that nature. Just you want your deck to function and do what it needs to do. So mulliganing is much more important. And here we go. They're bottoming their cards. So here we go. Some 6-on-6 action. Turn one. Will Quinton have a crab? Will Quinton have a crab?
Is it
And
Krabby
yes,
time?
sir, he will.
Hedgeron Crab, welcome to the party.
Hard for me to tell what that land is. Is that a
That's Concealed Courtyard.
not? I'm sorry, not Wyatt. Quinton.
That's Dark Slick Shores.
Okay, gotcha. I've never seen that. Is that a expedition? Dark Slick Shores? Is that a thing?
It might be.
Okay, I
Yeah,
didn't
I
even know that
think
was
it
a thing.
is.
So here we see the good old Grief Ephemerate play.
It's
Okay,
quite good.
so yeah, very good, very good. Now,
But we do have
okay,
an unchecked crab, so we'll see how
we
that
do. We
goes.
have a crab. We have a
But
crab
that is
going to work
still a
here.
pretty big body that's
Yeah,
across from
yeah.
you on turn
And
one.
that's why Wyatt mulliganed is to find something just like that. So here we go.
Alright, we got a
Mill,
mill three real quick.
mill some cards. Ephemerate. Now, hopefully for Quinton, he just drew another land. It'd be nice if this ephemerate gets nothing.
Oh, a
The visions.
visions.
So, uh, Andrew and I were talking about this. I am pretty certain he should have blind just cast the visions on his turn because if he hits crab or I'm sure like a fatal push, for example, any of his 1 mana spells there that he can play would have been really big game. Um, and now he doesn't have even the option to hit that. Um, Obviously, it sucks if you hit your 3 mana spell, but
Oh, is Grief a
a
four
little,
drop?
what'd say?
Grief is a four drop?
Grief is a 4-drop, yes.
Yeah, okay. I was thinking Grief was a five drop. I was getting him and
Oh,
Solitude's
sure,
mana cost
gotcha. Okay.
confused. So yeah, that makes a lot of sense because you go,
Yeah.
then you fetch, and you'll be able to remove it because you have the revolt or whatever on.
Okay. Anyway, though, that's not what Quinton chose to do. So here
Right.
we are. Let's see where the game goes from here. But obviously, it's going to be really awkward if Quinton draws, let's say, a crab off the top of his deck. Very awkward because imagine this scenario: he draws a crab and has this third land in his hand. What do? Do you play the crab or do you put Luris in your hand? Now we have this really awkward decision to make that we wouldn't have to make if we would have just popped. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. Okay, so there's the crab that we. Oh my good. See now, this is an interesting turn too. Personally, I would have been mana efficient here and just put the Luris in the hand. Um, but that's also not what we chose to do. So let's see where things go from here. But I would have liked to get Luris in hand here.
Yeah, you give up the mill three, but you could just do that next turn,
You,
honestly.
you give up, yeah, you give up some cards, but like you're losing a ton of efficiency by not putting that Luris in hand here. And again, imagine this scenario. Imagine Wyatt has a fatal push for a crab, and if we draw a fourth land, we could have just played our Luris and replayed the crab. I mean, so you know, um, small missteps, but missteps nonetheless. I think, and we'll see. Okay, we got a Kaya's Guile. Let me be honest. I'm pretty surprised that Kaya's Guile is still in the deck here for Wyatt, but he does need to bring 80 cards into the deck, and it can do some cool stuff against Visions of Beyond, I guess. So it's not completely, and the Edict is not nothing. Um, I do think it's a little lackluster, but Okay. And Quinton is going to put Lord. Yeah. So, you know, there's that. And he has the fourth land. So, I mean, just the not putting the Luris in hand, I mean, really just really biting him right now because he would have, the Kaya's Guile would have not been nearly as good.
Is it in hand
Uh,
at this point?
it is. He just put it
Okay.
in hand. Um, Now, I'm really curious if Wyatt top decked this Inquisition or if he's been sandbagging it. Not certain, but Quinton just really, I mean, if that was a top deck Inquisition, just getting completely punished for not putting that Luris in hand every step of the way. Every step of the way. Getting punished for not casting the visions, and then really getting punished for not putting that Luris in the hand. Um,
We're
and
just
now
punishments
is
all around.
Yeah, and now is in a pretty rough spot here. The grief's getting busy. The 1/1 spirit's getting busy. Wyatt left up 3 mana here, which is interesting. He didn't put, excuse me, he didn't put Yorion in hand. So I'm curious what he's leaving up. He's got one card in hand, so he's definitely repping something. Question is what? Could be another Kaya's Guile. Could also be maybe a Fatal Push, maybe an Ephemerate. I can't see which land, if that's another courtyard or if it's a godless shrine, and it is an ephemerate. Yeah, and oh, it's a fatal push. Gotcha, fatal push. Um, hooey. Oh boy, oh boy. Yeah, and so Quinton now. This is bad news. This is very bad news. Has literal nothing going on. Wyatt still has 4 power in play. It looks like Quinton's at 11 life. So that's a 3-turn clock right now. Quinton is in huge trouble. Huge trouble. Now we have a teammate, Dewey Vu. He's been playing a fair amount of mill, and he'll be the first to tell you. You really, yep. That's a surgical extraction? Okay. That's an Ulamog? So Wyatt not only does Wyatt have 80 cards in his deck, he's also playing Eldrazi Titans out of the sideboard. Woo boy.
This
Well,
man was hurt by
he
Mill
was
one
ready.
too many times.
Wyatt came to play. He came to play today. He was not losing the mill. And
He
but
said,
my to my point I was getting to before though, you really mill is a deck you gotta play really tight with it. I mean, you know it's a race to get their library milled out, and in doing that, you really gotta play every turn super optimally. Um, and Quinton played fine, but there were some mistakes along the way here, and he'll you know
so
he'll probably learn from them.
let's talk about the big mistake that we're seeing here right in front of us, though. So if
Yep.
you notice, Wyatt, on the other hand, he exiled the Ulamog to the Surgical. He missed the trigger to shuffle his
Yes.
graveyard back into
Yes,
his
yes.
library.
It's funny. It's funny. I forgot that again because Andrew caught this when we were watching this on Monday. Yeah, no, that is a missable trigger.
Yes.
So tough luck here for Wyatt, but good luck for Wyatt as Quinton has literal nothing. Also, good luck for Wyatt as that surgical extraction was in Quinton's deck. I'm a little surprised that surgical's in there. I guess the plan was probably kill Stoneforge Mystic and surgical Stoneforge Mystic. Um, to not allow Cauldras to be as much of an issue. I still don't think I like it.
They could be
Kind of just
friends, too.
it could be, and yeah. So maybe Quinton knew that Wyatt had this Eldrazi Titan in his sideboard, but nonetheless, I'm going to be honest. I just I think maybe I would just pray that Tasha's hits it. It's hard to say. This matchup's tough for Quinton. I mean, not
Yeah, that's
not
what it
one
comes down to.
not one that he wants to play. Um, obviously could have played the game better though, and he'll want to improve on that in the future. But tough matchup nonetheless. And so Wyatt looks like he's going to be crashing in. I think there's a shambling vent there, so okay. And Quinton's going to play a Field of Ruin, so he's not just dead to the shambling. So that's good for him, I guess. And funny enough, Wyatt missing that Ulamog trigger actually might make Visions of Beyond a draw 3, and that's like the only way out that Quinton has is hitting some Visions of Beyonds,
Yeah.
probably some running Visions. So we'll see if that can happen. It looks like Quinton probably going to go to 1 here. Yeah, and Wyatt very intelligently not firing up. Oh boy, yeah, that's a Stoneforge. Here it comes. Yeah.
We
So
got
Stoneforge.
ourselves a very aggressive board.
Yep. And so pretty much the only out now for Quinton is he's gonna need like Visions of Beyond, maybe a Damnation. He's gonna need a combination of those. He's gonna need to draw multiple Visions of Beyond, I think, to get back into this game. And we'll see where we go. But Wyatt missing that Ulamog trigger, I mean, it could come back to bite him. It's possible. So yep. And Stoneforge putting in the sword. Yep. Wabam. Quinton, he needs a darkness, and he has a darkness. Okay. So we're still playing the game. Quinton now, I mean, you can only draw darkness so many times. He really needs Visions of Beyond. It's got to be Visions. Visions are nothing. Visions are bust right now. We gotta hit a Visions to get back into this game. Try and punish Wyatt for that missed Ulamog trigger. See if you can force a game 3.
So unfortunately,
Um,
he hit the shambling vent because he really needed to hit and not give his opponent an extra land drop to have an interaction. Obviously, I don't think it's gonna have much to matter this game,
yeah,
but it was just unfortunate.
yeah. And is he asking him to count his graveyard? I think he is. That's huge. That's big game. That might mean we drew a Visions.
Yep,
It
that's usually a clear
may,
tell.
in fact, mean we drew a Visions. Yep.
So that
Okay.
means this game should actually might have been over if he would
Oh
have
yeah,
actually shuffled his graveyard back into his
yeah, yeah.
library.
So Quinton, I mean, Quinton's still in huge trouble, but if he can chain Visions, uh, he's gonna have a chance. Is that the mill 13 or 14 or whatever it is? I think it's 14 on that one. Blue, blue, blue. So yeah, it's I forget the name of the card. The one with cycling, mill 4 draw. Okay. Quinton here. Now I don't like that land drop. I don't like that land drop unless we're gonna use it. No real reason to play that, I don't think.
No.
He needs another darkness to not be dead. It looks like he has it. But he's out of cards, so I mean he's gonna need to rip another Visions. I mean it's really the only way. I okay wall. It must have been white wall that he just put down. That's a very strange one to still be in the deck for Wyatt, honestly.
Which
Okay,
one
what?
was that?
Wall of Omens, I believe.
Oh yeah. Very aggressive magic card.
Yeah, the last thing I want in my deck in this matchup, honestly, one of the last things. Okay,
No
and we need
blocks,
another
and he's
guy.
gonna kill himself with a
Kill
fetch
himself.
land.
Classic. Kill myself with a fetch. So both our matches so far have gone 2-0 on camera here. We'll see if we can get a game 3 in our next round. Uh, both players, made a few mistakes, but overall, I mean, it was a fun match to watch. It was a good match. Um, you know, hopefully they both learn from this and can improve on it. The profane mementos we see coming out of the board seems kind of cool. But like we said, I mean, this is first of all Wyatt's playing 80 cards. That's kind of a bummer for Quinton. And then the Eldrazi Titan. I mean, what are you gonna do? That's rough. Um, so, but yeah, it was a good second match here. Wyatt moves to 2-0 with his Dead Guy Ale variation here, the Ephemerate Grief deck, and you know, like I said, I'm kind of biased. Wyatt usually plays decks that I really like, so I'm hoping he can keep it rolling here and keeps doing well here at our Monday Night Modern. So
Looks like our video is over, but yeah, that is the gist of it. It definitely was a sweet. It was pretty sweet to see what he was able to do, and I look forward to when he has some future ones as well.
yep.
But until next time, we'll catch you guys later.